I think children have to kind of see the world in all its aspects and to understand the world. One of the things that I do as a writer is to try to show children the wonder of the world, how amazing it is at the heart of it. But there are certain things that kind of counterbalance that wonderfulness. And it's not as if I'm trying, I don't think we should make children confront difficulties, but I think it's very important that children understand that the world is complex and complicated, but that it is wonderful and that they are the ones who are helping to create this world. I think they are often amazed by some of the things that happen in the world, and I can't understand why anybody would do some of the things that adults do to each other. And that's one of the causes for optimism, that children themselves generally have a kind of very benign attitude towards each other, and the cruelty of the world astonishes them. I think children experience the essence of the human being. I think when we grow up we often kind of forget what it is to really be human, to be creative, to be young. And children are living through the process of being young, being kind of human. So each time they live, each time they grow up, they're kind of giving everyone a new chance. Adults learn from children. I do lots of events where adults and children come together. And at the end of every event like that, I know that adults will come to me and say, those children were amazing. How did they know these things? How did they know how to ask these questions? I think we often kind of look down upon children, we kind of ignore them. We think they're not capable of thinking and feeling the profound things that they are. I think in many ways they are. I think they're more spontaneous, they're saying things for the first time, beyond tired. Often adults grow up, become very boring and tired, but children are kind of doing new. Oh, we get bogged down by worrying about money and power and politics. Whereas what we learn from children is that it's important to retain some kind of childlikeness inside ourselves. We have to keep the child inside ourselves. So I think by being a bit daft, by being simple sometimes, I think it's important not to feel very grown up and distinguished all the time. It's very important to be able to be loose. And I think a good way to experience being young again is to do things like, to write, to paint, to read, to go to the theatre, to listen to music, to play football, to watch football, to retain that kind of childlikeness. One of the things that I think we often do to children is we keep saying to them, grow up, but often we want them to grow up in the wrong way. We're trying to make them into boring adults. That's right, we get bogged down by self-consciousness, we get bogged down by thinking we're far too serious to be able to do that kind of thing. But we can do it in little ways by going for a walk, going for a swim, by using our bodies. Yeah. I write for adults as well. I write novels for adults and short stories for adults, but there's nothing quite like the weird sense of excitement of writing for children, for young children. There's a sense that you can be more experimental. You can play around more. You can do different forms of storytelling because children don't see it as weird. If you do weird forms of story or strange forms of storytelling for adults, they often feel a bit, you don't do that. But children will accept stories in all kinds of forms. That's the excitement. Sort of books for adults which appear to be quite serious and. But some of my best writing is writing for very young children because you can be more playful, more delightful, funnier. But the writing is just as good all across the... I don't say I'm going to become a worse writer because I'm going to write for young children. I'm going to become a better writer when I write for adults. I'm the same writer all through that. It's very important to give children respect and give them the best possible work you can give them in the best possible way and to honour them. I think so, and when adults read some of my children's books, they do come back to me and say those kind of things. They go, it made me feel really strange, and that's an interesting kind of response from adults. It's very interesting to get that kind of response. You know, we have to read all kinds of stories and all kinds of things, and allow ourselves to be inventive and creative. It was discovering that I could write, in terms of writing, it was discovering that I could write in a different way. It was discovering that in writing for young people, I could become the kind of writer that I needed to be. Oh, it changed. The first way it changed was because that I was amazed. And it was wonderful, and it was like time stopped. And afterwards, it meant that I continued to make lots of contact with readers and with people all across the world. It brought lots of friendships, lots of encouragement from people all around the world. Oh, Mexican readers in Mexico. Like all young people all across the world, you are fantastic, you're wonderful. You have amazing minds, you have amazing bodies. You are able to create a better world.